Hey, fight fans, welcome back to Carlo Prusa MMA. Today, we are joined with a very special guest. My guest today is a UFC veteran. He is a PFL veteran. He has fought in Glory Kickboxing. He was a contestant of the Ultimate Fighter. And now he's decided to take the gloves off, MMA style. He's going to be in action against Chase Sherman going down November 15th, Biloxi, Mississippi. He's the Crochet boss. He is Mr. Maurice Green. What's up, Maurice? How you doing, my friend?
I'm chilling, man. I'm chilling. I'm battling a little sickness right now, but you know, this is just life. It's that time of the year, and it just is what it is.
So you got a phone call from Dean Toole recently. Originally Chase Sherman was going to fight Greg Hardy. Some stuff happened there. Greg pulled out. You're up. Get a fight in the promotion, doing some really big things. Very exciting contest. What was your reactions like to you when Dean pitched you Chase?
I assumed that was gonna happen because when the fight fell out with me and Guto, I told him, I said, I'll fight Chase Sherman. He's like, we can set that up when we back in business, and I think the Jorge Masvidal fighting, the boxing, you know, put a hold to everything. And now that that's over, we're back to business. And I saw it was Greg Hardy, and I was like, ah. And then I got the call, and for me, it's a no-brainer, kind of. Yeah, it's like a no-brainer. I was on the verge of just maybe being done, and choosing to just be an actor full time. But when you prepare mentally for what it could be like the worst of the worst of what the bare knuckle could be like, because I've never done it. I didn't grow up fighting. It's not something that I actually said I wouldn't do this shit. Actually, I said that. But then I sat back and actually thought about it, right? Uh, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. It's just less is more as well in this game of bare knuckle, and accuracy is key to success. So yeah, man, I'm excited to hop back in there. It's great timing. My teammate John Jones is in camp, and it's always nice to have something to work for, especially when you're working as hard as you're gonna be working. So I'm grateful and happy to be back to work, man. I've done this for so long that it feels normal now.
The first time we talked, you mentioned to me that your dad thought you were a little crazy for entertaining bare knuckle. Has he grown to accept it at all, or does he still think this
No,
applies to
you
him?
still think I'm crazy. It's a little wild. I'm not gonna lie to you, it's a little wild. But it just is what it is, man. Like it just is what it is. And if Chase Sherman wasn't winning, and I think he's pretty close to a title. And I'm not young. I'm not a young man anymore like I used to be. So I want the fastest route to a title, and sometimes you got to fight dogs, and sometimes you got to be put in uncomfortable positions. And I'm game. You know, uh, I got nothing but respect for Chase Sherman. And the body of work that he's put together over the years. I've watched him over the years myself. It'd be awesome to share the cage with him. You know.
You know, Instantly when we see you two guys paired up together, I mean, everyone's thinking knockouts. Someone maybe get finished, someone maybe gets put to sleep. Looking at it from a competitive standpoint, do you think there's a good chance, this thing may not last more than a round?
That's always we're heavyweights. That's always a possibility. It's always a possibility that somebody get cracked. And with no gloves on, it less is more. Like I said, less is more. So that's always a possibility.
And
That's
now,
my goal every time. I'm trying to get in and out in the shortest amount of time as possible. So yeah, just like he's trying to knock me out, yeah, I want to put his lights out. He wants to put my lights out. That's normal. Or why would we have like a bunch of people wanting to come and watch it. you know?
The heavyweight division in Gamebred's really doing some big things. I mean, obviously you have Junior Dos Santos, the Gamebred World Heavyweight Champion. There's some big fighters. They're very exciting fights. With a win over Chase Sherman, a guy who's made a name for himself in the promotion already by getting some big wins. Do you think that puts you in title talks in the near future with a guy
I
like
know,
that?
talk. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm 38 years old. I'm not a fucking spring chicken. I'm looking for the closest path to the title. Period. Whoever. So yeah, Chase has been winning. He's been putting shit together. Yeah. If you don't think I'm not gonna scream Junior Dos Santos, yeah, of course. But I gotta you gotta put a guy like Chase Sherman away to scream that. You gotta be realistic about the expectation, right? You gotta make a fight happen that that looks as aesthetically pleasing. To be like, oh, let him skip the line. Uh, and I'm willing to do that. I'm willing to do that, and yeah, I'm excited about what we're gonna experience. There's some of it that's um, I think of it like this. Like, some people ask me like, how do you do it, Maurice? Like, man, that's wild. And I thought it was wild, but when you're sure of yourself and you're sure of your skills, and you know what you bring to the table, and you know what they bring to the table, and you know where you can get hurt, and you're okay with getting hurt in those moments. Which I don't know. You sometimes don't know how your body's gonna react. When you're like half knocked out. Like for instance, when I was on Ultimate Fighter, I got hit with that overhand, and had Bambi legs, and I hit the ground, and he took my back or my side, but I was able to scramble and get to it. That's why he submitted me versus knocking me out. My body said fight, not flight. Um, in those moments, you don't know that unknown is what keeps me on my toes and makes me want to do it. I prepared my mind last time. It was the day before I was supposed to fly to Orlando that I got a call saying that they had to cancel the fight. You know, what a lot of people don't know is I had to cut a lot of weight. I was almost 290. After I got the call from Dean Tool, I walked out of my bathroom and I fainted. I fainted because I usually never have to cut weight, but I got healthy, and now I just got a long time. I got pretty much a whole fight camp. I was looking to take a short notice fight within a couple weeks. I got a whole fight camp to really put something together and come out here and you know uh, put on a show for the fans in Biloxi, man. I know it's Chase's hometown, and I'll probably get some booze, but I thrive off that shit. I thrive off that. I like being an underdog. It's okay. I was underdog most of my career, but it's fine.
When the stuff went down in Orlando, when you weren't able to get that fight, was there any looking for a last minute opportunity, last minute opponent?
No, no, I fainted. I fainted, and I just felt my body needed rest at that point in time because I did it the wrong way. Because I don't cut weight, but my whole UFC career, I was 250, 255. I wasn't big. Now it's like you got to get down to 265. You got to diet. so, Chase has my full attention. He's dangerous. He's dangerous all the time. He's a gamer. He likes this shit. This shit gets a, this shit makes his dick hard. This shit stands him up. He's ready to fight. So, it's just coming to grips with that, right? Coming to grips with him being game for it and me just biting down on the mouthpiece and being game for it too. You know, yeah, that's it. I'm excited though. I'm excited. I got nothing but respect for him. I've been in this game too long to be talking shit and over promising under the. I'm a guy who fights, and I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna do my thing, man. I'm gonna do my thing.
Mixed martial arts.
Guaranteed.
MMA has evolved so much over the years. 15 to 20 years ago, this was called human cockfighting by people. It was banned all over.
Probably more than that. Probably more
Yeah,
than that. Probably 20 years ago. Probably
20.
20, 25 years ago. Because when I started, I was finally like, oh, okay. I thought the shit was wild, but you're right though. Keep going. Sorry to cut you off.
Is it crazy to think like back then when you first started this stuff, did you ever think we'd come to a time where we have a sanctioned bare knuckle league?
No, because I used to watch on Sublime Directory. You probably know what that is. I literally used to watch all the Kimbo Slice fights when I was in high school. I used to watch it like, yo, this is why. I used to watch Jorge Masvidal fight with his long hair, his ponytail going everywhere. I used to watch it all. I thought it was wild. I never had to really fight growing up. But I don't know. It's something about this sport. I've gotten accustomed to getting hit. I kind of like it. I don't mind it. I really don't mind it that much, actually. It makes you feel alive in a sense, at least for me.
You've been competing in the sport for a very long time. Lot in the sport. When you first started out, back in the day, 15 years ago, when you first got into this stuff, do you have any crazy fighting horror stories of maybe early promotion, mystery opponents, bad medicals, crazy fighting conditions? Do you have anything wild?
um, not not really. Like when I got in, it was I got I had this one training partner. He's a big homie. He's a big boy, big ass legs. But in the gym, my man will go hard. He would low key beat me the fuck up, actually. But when he got his opportunity to be on the big stage, he kind of crumbled. And I've been on some bigger stages. I'm not saying I'm the best at anything, but I've showed my heart and showed what I'm capable of, and show what my body can endure. And in that moment, that just taught me like it doesn't matter what we do in the gym, like it does, but to be a bully in the gym doesn't translate to being a bully when it's go time. And it kind of taught me how to train. I want training partners that want to be around me, training partners that want to work as hard as we can without getting hurt, because you can save all that real shit for when it's go time. And I've always kept that with me. I think I've always thought about those times because I'm more durable than I thought I would be, actually. Like I'm more game than I thought I would be. Uh, but this is the ultimate how game are you? He's already proved multiple times that he'll do this. So to do this to a guy like Chase Sherman, um, it's gonna be a tough fight. But to do it to a guy like Chase Sherman, I would hope I did more than enough with my character, not only with my fighting, but with the character and the person I am outside of the cage and all the shit that I do that would warrant a title fight against Junior. You know.
So one of your training partners, the greatest of all time, the greatest to ever do this, maybe the greatest that will ever do it, years and years to come, Mr. John Jones. Where did that relationship start? When did you first start hanging out with Johnny Bones?
Man, right when I moved here was we came out here. I got kicked out of Factory X because I chose to fight Jean Vellante, who's my brother's former college football teammate. My brother played D tackle. I think John played linebacker. So that was it. That was cool to like me because he knew my brother when they were in college. But so I got kicked out of Factory X. It was around the time COVID happened. I was like, fuck this. I'm not staying in Colorado. If my family gets COVID, I'm gonna get COVID. So I went home. And you get to a point where, man, you gotta fight. This is your job. So I got an offer. I accepted it, and I was told I wasn't welcome back to Factory X. So I reached out to Juan Adams, and Juan talked to Wink, and Me and my family. It was right after the George Floyd stuff happened in Minnesota. We were living in Minnesota at the time. So we like, fuck this. We hopped in the car, drove 19, 20 hours straight. Came here for 3 weeks. I beat Jean Volante, and I went back home, packed my house. In 2020, we moved to Albuquerque, and we've been here ever since. And once we got here, um, all the riots and stuff were going on where they were like fucking up like family businesses, and John started the Care Project, and me and my fiance and my kids, we were all invested, and we went out, and that's kind of how the relationship started. And then through there we started training, and we trained a little more, and we got to a point where it's like, oh, we, shit, we're good training partners with each other, like, and it just developed from there to where it is now. And now, we get working, man. We get working. I'm really grateful.
It was just announced that he's going to be going to fight Stipe Miocic, fight that I've been so super excited for. Of the two greatest fighters ever. He's getting a lot of heat right now. Dana obviously praises him for good reasons because he is the greatest ever. I don't care what anybody says. The guy is the greatest ever. Some people are mad that he's not fighting Tom Aspinall. He's not fighting Alex Pereira. My humble opinion, I don't think he needs to fight those guys. I think he's proved everything there's nothing to do. What is your whole thought process on this?
I mean, you just pretty much said it. Like, what more does he have to show y'all? Really? Unless he wants to, right? Unless he wants to. The reality is, what more does he have to do? This is not just a heavyweight fight. This is like a legacy fight. Period. It's like a legacy fight. You got the best heavyweight to ever do it to the fighting the greatest to ever do it. So this is like a legacy fight, man. So um, if he wants to fight Tom Aspinall, if he wants to do these other things, then that's going to be up to John. And but I'm pretty sure he knows that he doesn't have to do any of these things to cement anything in MMA. He's done that with his body of work. Some people, unless you know, John tore down like one of the most stacked divisions in the UFC in his time. He cleaned it out, cleaned the division out, and you can say what you want to about him. He cleaned the division out. Period. So, no, I don't think there's anything more he has to do. If he wants to, he can. But I don't think there's anything more he has to do.
So many people watch MMA in this day and age. So many people watch the UFC, and they see the John Joneses of the world, they see the McGregors, all the big names, and they're like, "What a glorious life this is!" Being a professional fighter, it's amazing. However, they don't realize there's a lot of sacrifices that it takes to be a professional fighter. A lot of guys, even if they're in the PFLs and the UFC, some guys still have to work 9 to 5 jobs. They have kids, they have families. I think a lot of people be surprised at what's actually fighters make to what they think they make. Obviously, a lot of hard training, getting punched in the face almost every day of the week. What has made you stick with this? What's kept you motivated through all these years, my friend?
um, when I got into MMA, I was down bad for real, and I was 330 pounds. I partied, was a fucking alcoholic, raging alcoholic, probably. I did a bunch of drugs, you only live one life, and then I had kids, and that was a focus for me. I lost 100 pounds, started fighting, and it was like go to college or do MMA. So I chose MMA, and in 2018 when I was on Ultimate Fighter, I was working a corporate job at Capital One, and they offered me a severance, and I took it to chase my dream, and here we are. It's like, I spent 14 and a half years in this career to be able to, you know, this is not, I wouldn't do this if it was just like an intramural sport. Like, I wouldn't do it. I'm not even going to front with you. I do love it, but I wouldn't do it I do jiu-jitsu. I don't know about like sparring and all that extra shit. If it was an intramural sport, but I'm a professional athlete still at 38 years old, and I also think that it's I'm not even past my prime. I know I'm getting older, but I started late, so I don't have a lot of miles these guys got. So, and I'll go there with you. I really will. I'll go there with you. Um, yeah, I really will. And I'm excited to be able to move around and still be competitive at 38. But with all the shit I got going on, man, you know, it's hard to navigate with a family and responsibilities. And some of these guys who are younger with no kids, man, the younger me, if I knew what I knew now when I was younger, I would have just moved around. I would have just made it work. But my life may not be where it's at now if I did that, right? So you got to be grateful for where you're at in your life, and you got to make it work. You know, I just signed a contract. Everything goes to the wayside for the most part right now, because all that matters is getting a W. Really, all that matters is getting a W. Um, and it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be a hard fight, but I'm gonna do it for sure. A lot of people are saying that. A lot of people say no, he won't, and whatever, nigga, whatever. Um, I'm gonna get this W, come hella high water, and it's gonna be tough. But you gotta realize, like Chase still gotta fight me though. You know, can he knock me out? Yeah, but I've been knocked out one time in 14 and a half years. That's the Hannon was the first person to ever knock me out cold. I've never been knocked out, not even by. So to think that this guy's gonna come in and he's gonna throw his punch combinations and this bullshit to me. I'm a world class striker, and I believe in what I'm doing. So it's you know he's gonna move forward. He's gonna throw his punches, and I got some shit for him. I do. I got some shit for him. I got respect for him too. Uh, and it has nothing to do with him, but he's just the target, and it's time to eliminate that target. And it's time to prepare my brain to eliminate that target. Just like he's going to prepare his brain to eliminate this target. Unfortunately, it's just not going to happen.
You've been able to fight some of the greatest promotions in the sport, obviously the PFL, obviously the UFC, going to be Gamebred now. Promotion that you fought on that I don't think gets as credit as it deserves is Glory Kickboxing. I think that's such a great promotion, such great athletes. What was it like fighting with them?
It was tough, man. I kind of got thrown to the wolves. I went to that one night, three kickboxing fights. I fought three times. I lost in the final to Xavier Vigny. And I think he was undefeated when he was in Glory and then retired. Um, but I went to Glory, I fought Anderson Silva. They had like 50, 60 kickboxing bouts with like four fights, like four professional kickboxing fights. Because I was pro MMA before I even went to go do that. It was just an opportunity. But I learned so much by that. And yeah, I learned so much about the kickboxing flow, which is much different from MMA flow. Uh, so that's why you look at a guy like Guto, fighting a guy like Guto versus fighting a guy like Chase. Who who who's gonna pose way more threats to me? Guto. Guto's gonna pose more threats. Okay. Neither one of the fights are easy, but the preparation is way different, right? Instead of having to hone in on 30 things, you only got to hone in on like five. You know what I'm saying?
In
So,
addition to go on.
no, I'm just saying it's a good fight. It's a good fight. It's going to be a tough fight. They're all tough. It's bare knuckle. It adds an extra layer, you know? Um, but if I was okay to fight Guto, it's an easy choice to fight Chase in my eyes. I don't think there's anything that Chase is going to offer me that Guto can't give me, you know? So it's a no-brainer for me.
In addition to fighting, another thing that you're very good at and you're very passionate about, crocheting. How did you start getting into the world of that?
Crocheting?
Yeah.
Well, I've been crocheting longer than I've been fighting. I've been fighting 14 and a half years. I've been crocheting about 17, 18. You know, Mr. Still Your Granny is in full effect. She, if Granny thick and she look good, you may want to hide her. No, I'm playing. Uh, but Um, I'm into fashion design and like the making of clothes and just being creative and all different types. I play music too. Recently, I just started playing the tenor and the alto saxophone, teaching myself again because I used to play the trumpet. So I used to read music, but I never played a reed instrument. But it's going well. My son plays the tenor, so we play together sometimes. Pretty cool. Uh, I just wanted to be able to make things for myself that other people wouldn't do, and crocheting came about, and I used to crochet in public transit in Chicago, and it just never left. And when I was fighting, I had a different name, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna change my name to the Crochet Boss. So I did that, and here we are, the Crochet Boss.
So we talked about a little earlier, but you're going to be fighting in Biloxi, Mississippi. Chase Sherman grew up right around that area. You get to play the role of the villain, the spoiler. You might get some booze. Does that excite you even more?
Um, Man, it is what it is. I love going in somebody else's hometown and fighting them. It's the pressure's off. What pressure are we talking about when everybody you know is not watching you? They're watching me from afar, but it's different when they're in the arena. You know, um, it is what it is, man. I'm sure it's gonna be a great crowd out there in Biloxi. I may get some booze, but it's all for a good reason.
If you're able
It's
to get
all
your
to it's all to big up the sport of MMA.
if you're able to get your hand raised at the end of the night, should we expect a pretty wild post-fight interview?
What do you mean by wild?
Could it be exciting? Could it be some call-outs? A lot of energy, a lot of excitement.
Definitely a call out. Maybe not a lot of energy. Maybe not a lot of excitement because my goals are bigger than one night of fighting. So I'm gonna be honest with you. I get excited to win, but we still got an ultimate goal that we're working for. And if you're not there, what are we getting excited about? This is just one. This is just another step in the right direction right now. Um, so I have a job to do on November 15th, and like I said, it's one step in the right direction. Given we do everything we need to do from now until that fight, everything's just gonna ramp up for me. It's hard to go to the gym when I have nothing to look forward to. It's easy to go to the gym when I have a target in mind. And, you know, it's going to be easy for him to go to the gym. It's going to be easy for me to go to the gym. And we're going to show up on November 15th and put on a fucking show for the fans in Biloxi. And they're either going to get the result they want, which is highly unlikely. Um, but they'll be able to see that boy in there, though. That's cool.
All right, Maurice, last question for you, my friend. In a perfect world, what is the outcome when you take on Mr. Chase Sherman November 15th for Gamebred, bare-knuckle in Biloxi, Mississippi?
Listen, I don't get paid by the hour, okay? So the best case scenario is go ahead and finish his ass early and go get some sleep and come back home to my family. But if it doesn't go that way, I guess we may have to go to hell and back. And I'm willing to do that. I'm willing to go there with him. I know he's willing to go there with me, so it could be an exciting fucking fight. So.
Maurice, man, I'm looking forward to this one. I think this is going to be an absolute classic. I'm glad that this was able to work out for you. You got to fight. Been wanting to watch you fight bare knuckle for a while. Thank you so much for talking with me tonight. I appreciate it, my friend, and I'll see you in Biloxi.
All right, big dog. You take it easy. See you in Biloxi. Thank you.
That's the Crochet Boss, Maurice Green. I'm the Fight Dr. Carlo Prusa. Stick around, fight fans.